connect, serve, and grow is what you can expect at the House of Reconciliation. Leadership, community, education, wellness, and participation is part of our plan for your spiritual growth and success. Family and faith is a core value for the House of Reconciliation, working to help people find their purpose. Want to make an impact in the kingdom? Ready to tap into your future? Meet us at the House Sundays with Pastor Reginald Campbell, www.houseofreconciliation.org.
I want to say good morning and welcome in to another edition of Successful Living. We're here at the Greenville campus at the House of Reconciliation, and we're happy to be with you this morning. Do not intend to trouble you long this morning. Just want to share with you as we head into the spring. We're almost there. Pollen and everything is beginning to happen. So every time I look around, they say that the pollen is high. So then we know that then the wind and the pollen and the yellow on the car and all of that, it's going to be a challenging month. But I want to welcome in those that are joining us from the Greenwood campus, as well as those that are joining us from the virtual campus, and to our friends abroad and to our believers abroad. Want to thank and welcome in Ghana, Antigua, South Africa, Liberty. What is it, Liberia? Yeah, it's been one of those days. And Nigeria for joining us this morning, as well as others. I want to take this opportunity to thank you and welcome you for all of your support to Successful Living, to the House of Reconciliation. I want to revisit something right quick, a couple scriptures that you can write down as you begin this month. This is the last month of the quarter, but it's also going to present some opportunities for us. We've been dealing with, let me find the exact word, Proverbs 18:21, death and life is in the power of the tongue. And we have been dealing with that, and those that love it shall eat the fruit. And we've kind of discovered that our tongue has a lot to do with what we do, and it brings about guilt, brings about a lot of things. And we talked briefly about don't hold the guilt. It becomes poison. Don't let your tongue speak out of its past. Own it. That comes out of Psalms 51. And number 2 is accept it. Sometimes you have to accept that you need to elevate, whether you, me, or whoever. Because sometimes we're demanding things and wanting things, but we have yet to engage in the things. It's like mixing concrete. You can have the water, you can have the container, but somebody's got to bring the sand. So those are things right there. It's more than just always on someone else. It has to, the weight distribution has to be somewhat balanced. And so then we look at accept it, and last but not least, grow from it. And this is why this part is really critical, because it says in scriptural perspective that David went on and grew great. This leads us to Proverbs 25 and 28, the New Living Translation. It says, a person without self-control is like a city with broken down walls. And we've been dealing with weak walls. So here's a couple of things I want to share with you this morning. We do what we value most. Because spiritually, when we walk spiritually, it's a difference in church and spiritually. And we do everything sometime for everybody except for the things that keep the glue of what we need to have happen in our relationship with God. We can take risks on our jobs. We can take risks in associations. We can take risks on buying cars and reading reviews. But we don't really invest in our spiritual growth. We kind of twist it and make it a demand that God should do this for me and this for me. And so all of a sudden, and someone had a conversation with me, and I said, there are a lot of people who are dictating to God and appear to be unhappy with God. But I would wonder what you would do if you're so disgusted with God, then give him his breath back. And see how well you live on your own. Give him his breath back. Because we do what we value the most. Whether it's socializing, and then when it comes to God, we always give him the scraps. We don't give him the same energy, because in God you have to work through faith and you have to work through a spirit realm. And in man, you can just do what you want to do and it's pleasing to you. If you decide that you want ribs today, you will go and purchase ribs or pull them out of the freezer. If you decide that you want to grill today, you can grill today. So you get to pick and choose. And so then when it comes to God, sometimes we take this kind of rest from God. We do what we want to do. And this is what weakens the wall. If you put no time in, then how can you withdraw something you never put time in? So, making excuses for the rest. Weak walls many times are developed by what a person hears. Now, there's a difference here. It's a difference in hearing and knowing. And most things that people are being told, they know the principle, but the thing that they're hearing sounds better than the principle. So they are influenced by outside noise. Here is what I would say in the beginning of this conversation. God's not okay with us taking his time to do us. And so then when we feel bad, then we kind of act like it's God's fault. We evaluate God, but do we ever do a self-evaluation of ourselves? Because we'll make excuses for ourselves. And we'll put the responsibility on God. And we do the same thing as humans. Instead of saying, did I do my part? 40% is not 100%. 60% is not 100%. And so we have been taught to always come looking. And so looking turns into demanding and expecting. And there's nothing wrong with expecting. But first of all, you gotta meet the standard to be the standard, to demand the standard. That didn't go over too well. You see, people want to demand the very thing they can't meet. So just a couple things. I know it's the first Sunday of the month, and everybody's supposed to be happy. And everybody's supposed to be getting back to church, but see, even in getting back to church, are you getting back to worshiping God? Or do we go to church with an expectation of God, I have 12 things I need you to do for me before the end of the month, and I want those 12 things, and I'll drop you something occasionally in the offering plate, and we'll peace out. So that's literally just checking our conscience. So if we are hearing the wrong thing, then it weakens the walls from the inside. Be careful what you listen to in all phases of your life. We talked about misinformation leads to misdirection. It creates loss of time and confusion, and it changes one's destination. And here's where the critical point is. Most people should have been moving in a different direction as we are entering into spring. And instead, some people are still struggling with the spring of last year. They're still struggling with situations and problems that happens. And so then what they have forgotten, they have a high demand on God, but they have forgotten their part and their responsibility in the equation. So here's what happens. Stagnation stagnates the ability for one to function properly. This is what stagnation does. Because how we get there is we do everything on our time. We do everything on our time. There's no time set aside. We give our energy to everything else. And then we don't give our energy to God or to what builds our future or what sustains our present. And so then we come at demanding and expecting the same thing when we've not brought or added anything new to it. We didn't add worship. We didn't add prayer. I would say it this way. Many times we're faithful to everything but God. We are concerned more about our issues and our problems and and we're not in fellowship, communion, and in a love relationship with God. It's not going like that. Stagnation, the ability to disturb one's function. This is how we fall into these pockets, and these pockets are simple. Good, but not solid. We have the appearance. We have the title. We have the home. We have the position, but it's not solid. Because literally what we're saying is that God should wait on us while we do us, and we'll come by and holler at him from, because look at all the prep we do for everything else in life. If you, and this is why I always say, many people cannot separate fiction from reality. They get into things, and it's like they'll do more for a cookout that they're having at their house than they will cleaning their house. So they'll clean up for company, but they won't clean up for themselves. So, good but not solid. Prep is key. When these things happen, it positions a person, and we fall into a category, and I put myself in there too, of anti-learning skills. What does that mean? Some of us are still doing elementary math. We're still doing broken English, where now we should be well-groomed and polished and able to articulate and move in a different direction. See, it's easy to demand, and it's challenging to scale up, because when you scale up, you got to come out of your comfort zone. When you scale up, you got to come out of your comfort zone. And one of the things that's so easy for people to know and learn is when it's time to come out of your comfort zone, I'm uncomfortable with that. That's not who I am. That's who you should become. That's not who you are, but that's who you should become. Because if you always stay who you are, then how do you grow? Remember, I talked about all phases of our life. So if I don't stretch out, if I don't do something different, I say it's unimportant. But what's unimportant to you is important to somebody else. And so when we live our lives in events, we lose the value of the day-to-day process. So then and here's the tough part. This is why I don't understand why people, want to run to the pulpit and do all this stuff and try to teach and think they have something to say. Here's the whole thing. To get better, you have to be critiqued. And if your skin is thin in certain areas, then it's hard for anybody to say anything to you, because you're going to be sensitive about it. We don't like critiquing. So then just really tell me, because I can end the broadcast, and why we here? Why we here? And the first thing people say, you hurt my feelings. Or I'm feeling some kind of way. I wasn't talking to your feelings. I was talking to your skill set. So there are some people and some of us that haven't developed since 3rd grade, 5th grade. We haven't grown. But yet we want to occupy certain spaces. Does this make sense? And we'll go the extra mile over there, but we won't go the extra mile over here. So if we are anti-critiquing, then we're anti-development. You cannot do what you have not learned. You cannot be good at what you haven't practiced. We cannot succeed at what we don't value. Yeah, I know. I wish I was off too. I was like, if any day that I needed to be off from a broadcast is today. But see, because we see these things as criticism. we don't see them as constructive tools to take us to another level because we're in a comfortable place. And this is why God has to put us in an uncomfortable place. So hopefully we can open up our eternal eye and see that we need to grow. And so this is why when when I say again, good but not solid, prep is the key. And many times people don't work on their skills. They don't work on their learning skills. Anti-critiquing. We see it as criticism. Here is what we all should be doing. Every one of us. We should and understand this is the time, or the time has come, to rebuild the walls. See, we want everybody else to change, but we don't want to change. And here's the kicker. Let me help you out. Even if they change, you wouldn't fit them. Ask me why. You haven't changed. See, we make demands, and we have this kind of silent kind of thing when there should be communication, but we can't communicate because our feelings and emotions get in the way. So this is the time. This is the month that our flowers should be germinating in the ground. And we should see buds coming up. We should see little hills where it has gone through the germination process and is ready to start springing forth. Instead, we haven't even put most of it in the ground, which goes back to foundation. The time has come to rebuild the walls in our life. This is why I say to people, it's time to get back to church. And when you get back to church, seek for spirituality rather than association and rather than tradition. Seek God. We need prayer. We need worship. But see, here's the kicker. We think those things are so minute when that's the glue that keeps us together, because we can spend more time. We can spend 3 hours watching television, sports event, whatever, and we can't spend 2 minutes on our knees praying to God. I know this one ain't gonna make it to. That's right. We can spend 6 hours sleeping. We can spend 5 hours on a Zoom call, but we can't spend. So would it be easy to say that maybe our priorities are out of line? With that? Because see, here's the thing. The time has come to rebuild the walls. And the first thing, and I said this on a little clip, is finding value in dark places. Because you have to get in a place where God can cover you while you're under new construction. We want that job, but you're going to have to go to school or go to a technical school or go to a place where they can equip you. We don't want equipping. We don't want to be equipped. And here's the thing about learning on the job and learn as you go. That is something that is almost detrimental to your future. Ask me why. Whatever they teach you is all you know to do. So when something else comes up, you have no models to pull from. You have no resources. So then everything is a quick emergency. So here's where people fall into a trap. Well, I got it done. Yes, you got it done, but you didn't do your best work. That's what I would say to anybody and everybody. Was it your best? Male or female? Was it your best work? Or was it the lazy side of you? Anybody? Was it your best work? Did you give your best, or was it the lazy side of you? That's where it all boils down to. Because it's easy to point the finger. It's easy to say he, she, they did this, if they would have did. It's easy. But when it comes to something you value, you give your best and you give your time. But when it comes to something to making things solid, where are you? So God's covering us as we are under new construction. This comes out of Proverbs 5:3, trust in the Lord. Here is what I'm going to say, and I apologize in advance, but this is what I wrote 5 days ago. So this ain't pointed at no one particular person. Here's what it says, finding trust, Proverbs 3:5, trust in the Lord with all thy heart and lean not to thy own understanding. Here's where leaning not to your own understanding comes in. Material things does not fulfill purpose in life. These things that we get, these places that we want to be, these events that we're, hyped to go to, or you hyped about everyday life? Are you hyped about building your skills? Are you willing to open your mind and learn? But see, it's easy to acquire the material things, and what you give up is your money. And when you give up your money to acquire these things, your money brings and add value to someone else, and you have something that every moment you possess it is going to devalue. This is what I wrote. People demand the very thing that they can't deliver for themselves. People demand the very thing. You should, they ought to give me. I'm the exception. And so if we truly, and you all are not looking well, if we truly are going to turn our lives around, and I just feel like, if I could just walk into this and just walk away, because you're not looking well. Yeah, I'm just going to get because I feel like he talking about me. You can check the date on this when I wrote this. People demand the very thing that they can't deliver themselves. I demand excellence out of you, but I make excuses for myself. I demand excellence out of you. I will hold you to a standard that I can't even meet. So, here is the addiction part. I talked about that some time ago. Here is what happens. People demand the very thing that they can't deliver for themselves, because here's the thing. They don't believe truth. Truth sometimes, my brothers and sisters, and across the world and the nation, and to all of both campuses and to our virtual campus, people, the truth cuts. The truth shapes. The truth molds. The truth fertilizes. The truth stabilizes. The truth gives you a chance to change. A lie gives you the chance to repeat the same failure. Truth gives you and I a chance to change and improve and get better. A lie steals time and creates more confusion and brings more deprivation to the individual. A lie is like cholesterol in your arteries. Over time, it'll erode you. We don't want truth. We want things that make us shine. I got something for you if you allow me to work with you just for a minute here. I know it's been tough, but if you turned it off, somebody need to hashtag and say, turn it back on. Because, see, you have to learn to handle the truth. Because listening to the negativity creates a toxic attitude that turns into a dysfunctional behavior every day. So it creates this creature called a false reality. How do the walls get weakened? One of the main reasons, and deceptions come out of Matthew 12:45, when there's one wicked spirit comes in, it goes and get others. But here's what the first thing they start toxifying is the emotional feed. They feed the emotions. And there are people that you have invited and people that you care about and people that you love, and you're trying to get them to truth, but you can't get them to truth because they're in a cocoon of either self-pity, death, destruction, or they're sensitive. They don't want to open up to it. Negativity. Because when they are getting critique, when you are sharing, when you're trying to say, hey, if we did it this way, it would work better. If we use this tool, they are so anti-resistant, but they're open to everything else except for what makes their life solid. And if your life is not solid, it can't grow. This is why I've always said to people, and they've been upset with me about events, because people will go out of their way and spend money and do something extra for an event, and they have this wonderful, great time, and they feel all of this warmness and this togetherness, but that's not reality. Reality is how you live every day. Put the value back in your day and let the event be a complement to the lifestyle you lead. Don't let the event be your lifestyle. Let the event complement the very lifestyle that you lead. Because we put more time into events than we do the reality of our life. Because the enemy plays at our emotional feet, only hearing what we want to hear. Qualify what you hear before you believe it. Qualify. Seek the facts. Discover. Now, let's just say we're going to be together for a few minutes, right? I really want to let y'all go, but, what time we start? 8:30, so we'll be in together maybe 26 minutes. Let's deal with this. The walls really get weakened not by other people. The walls really get weakened by the people within themselves. And you know why? They have conflict within themselves. So when you have conflict within yourself, when Nathan comes along and tries to give you a parable, you resist Nathan as he went to David. So Nathan gave David kind of a story, and then David said that person should surely die. But then when Nathan said that person is you, so it's very hard sometimes. Yes, that very expression, not me, oh my God, do you not know who I am? Do you not know what I wear and what my title is? Do you not know what my income is? Do you not know where I work and how I supervise 20 people? But who in the freaking flip-flop of a bad person with bad breath is managing you? Who is managing you? Because you're so demanding, you've lost the ability to know how to give, let alone share. Yeah, just go ahead and say, I'm getting ready to tell us a new one right now. Y'all got the little bougie stuff from a few minutes ago. So just hashtag them, tell them, get back on. See, you because you can tell everybody else what to do. Then you want to tell everybody in your personal world what to do. You want to control the narrative. Y'all just want me to quit. You want to control the narrative. And the narrative is not there for you to control. It's there for you to share. So here's what it said. By saying I'm stuck, here's the reality. By saying I'm stuck between trying to live my life and trying to run from my life. That's where the average person is right now. That's where the average person is right now. Is something going on? Okay. Do I know? They came back on. Okay, pieces, good. Good. Hey, it's real. It's live. It's I don't even know who you are. I don't even know who you are. I don't know what part of the world you're in, but it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Because some things, I do get a little something sometime from the Lord. I do get a little something. And I say, I bet you somebody done cut me off. I bet you. And somebody done cut me off, Jesus. And I'm just trying to get you truth. Because I could be up here just hopping and spitting and stomping and you not learn anything. And I'm trying to teach you something. See, because the walls get weakened when the people are in conflict with themselves. By saying, I am stuck between trying to live my life and trying to run from my life. And I'm going to give you this analysis right here. Who is king of your mind? Who sits on the throne in your mind? I'll give you four things real quick. We already know them. Who's the king of your mind? What rules you? Your job? Your family? What's the king? Who has the dominant influence in your mind? You know what? I think I'm gonna just drop it off. I will be on the floor in Greenwood. Because we be here and we we got to go down to Greenwood. Y'all got coffee and tea and all that stuff, and I feel like if I deliver to you what I feel in my spirit, as the old preacher would say, under the unction of the Holy Ghost, that's the bad time and the bad day to play with me, because under the unction of the Holy Ghost, who's king of your mind? Your past, your present, your future, your problems, your job, your association, your money, your house. Who's king of your mind? So when you're sitting there and you see this wherever you are in the world, who's king of your mind? It's time to find a place of worship. It's time to take responsibilities for the blessings that God has been giving you. It's time to be accountable for where you are. Because if you and I are not accountable for where we are, then we cannot go to where we are destined to go. Who's king of your mind? I tell people all the time, this is not the seat you want to sit in. Because when you really, truly are called to the seat, I have a profession, and then I have a call on my life. And when you're called to this profession, people who are not called will say things to you to make you feel good. This is a checkup with God. This isn't about feeling good. This is about getting better. This isn't about status. This is word to reshape who I am, what I am, to become what I'm supposed to be. God bless you. I will do part 2 in Greenwood. What? More people coming on? Yeah, it's all right. Rest of them. I'll see them later on today.